So these cases, there is a well-organized structure in government. The duties are well-defined. The protocols are well-defined. And in fact, it's a very, you can say, very well-written bureaucratic structure. And so are the protocols, so are the documents, and so are their implementations. So it is a very good way for any litigation lawyer to learn by working for a panel.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Superlawyer. Today we have with us esteemed advocate Vishal Khattar sir, who is the founder of Patine Law Offices, New Delhi, and also he is Additional Advocate General for the state of Haryana at the Supreme Court of India. Welcome, sir, to our episode, and thank you for accepting our invitation and for being here. Let's start the journey of question and answer in more conversational manner. And so I would like to start with a very, very basic question. As and when you decided to become a lawyer, how was that journey and what kind of challenges did you see when you started this as a focused career for yourself?
Just a small correction, the office goes by the name of Patine Law Offices. Now I can understand. It's a unique word. I passed out from a school and the ex-students are called Patines. So it was my dedication and affection towards my school that we decided to name this office by that name. And see, I have been a debater all through my tenure in school and college. So I participated in some good debates and declamation competitions and was able to get some good distinctions and ranks in those competitions. So as a trend is there, once my principal, he was a great man, Mr. BBS Patania, he told me, you will become a good lawyer one day. Now, as a small town boy, the only problem was that I scored a lot of marks in my matriculation examination. And since I was amongst some top students at that time in the state, so my father immediately changed his expectation and said, you will be a doctor. So I was a medical student in school, and somehow, despite trying my level best, I could not make it to a medical college. So there were 3 colleges in my city, Rohtak. One was for a B pharmacy, one was MBA, and one was law, just to make sure that I do not leave my 1 year wasted. I gave exams for all 3 institutes also. So once I could not make it to medical college, I got admission in all these 3 colleges. So I started that I'll be doing MBA. But later on, when I discussed it with my principal, I went to him, talked to him, and said, Jay, you just go ahead and get yourself admitted to a law college and you will never repent that you have taken a wrong decision. And I believe he was very much right. So I decided that I'll do my law because I had some taste from the beginning for practicing law. And I'm confident it worked out. So I have done my 5 years law from Maharishi Dayananda University, Rohtak. And I started interning in Delhi from my 3rd year. And since then, I've been interning and working in Delhi only.
It definitely has worked out for you. I guess the path was paved by your faculty, but you made it a huge name in this.
I was quite lucky enough to be guided by so learned teachers, my professors and lecturers. I used to go frequently to my college also to mentor some students. Somehow they'll always ask me, Vishal, aap aate nahi aajkal. I say, it's all because of your extra blessings you have given me. Is keeping me that much busy that I'm not able to come. So you reduce your blessings, I'll start coming. So I've done my final year internship with a very good organization. It's sometimes called the most preferred employer of the world. It goes by the name General Electric, GE. So they have this finance division over here, GE countrywide. So I've done my final year internship with them, and they themselves then decided to absorb me at that time and gave us an offer. There was not a trend in my college getting these offers from the company. So that was a big thing at that time. Probably it was the first campus placement offer received by the department at that time, the faculty. So I joined GE as a legal analyst, and obviously it was a contractual job at that time. And then from there, during one of the court proceedings, I was picked up by one professional and he referred me to ICICI Bank, where in the initial time of my career, I joined as a state head legal at Punjab, Chandigarh. And then I had a short span of my career experience with corporates, wherein I worked with ICICI Bank, and then followed by with Tata Sons. They had this company called Tata Capital, wherein last my role was taking care of their North legal operations. But I never wanted to pursue my career for all through in corporate. So I just took a call and came back to practice.
So, with this kind of trajectory through your career, when did you decide to start Patine Law Offices, and what was the inspiration behind the establishment of this? Exactly what sets it apart from others in the legal landscape? Also, we would request you to share some challenges and successes as well, if you can.
See, if I talk about motivation always come when there is a loophole in the system wherein you want to fill in, or there is a need in the industry. In a legal fraternity, we do not use words like market, industry, but obviously the running factors, the limiting factors are these only. But I always believe, just look at the positive aspects. So there were good things happening. We were part of good things. So we wanted to start our own good thing. So we came up with this that we should have our own law firm. It's time that we should get independent. I should get independent. So decided that we start with this Patine Law Offices. Patine word and Patine Law Offices is email ID which I got made at my final year only. So that was clear in my mind, and every lawyer wants to be independent. So we were waiting for that time. We have some clients who can entrust some work upon us. So we started this Patine Law Offices. We started with a small 300 square feet office based out at Ansel Imperial Tower on the Ring Road, Delhi. And slowly we have been able to serve clients who come from both the category, corporate as well as non-corporate. So we have good reasonable practice cases from non-corporate clients also and from corporates also. In corporates, we are doing finance and bankings, then fintechs. Then we are doing automobiles also. We are doing some e-commerce clients also. Now we have started doing in FMCGs also. I am a first generation lawyer. So I had to hustle for every client. I had to hustle for every learning. Around 6 months back, we have started some operations in UAE also. So we're doing it for two of our clients in Dubai. So one is a fintech client, another one is into renewable energy. So we have started working for them also. So you talk about every benchmark will be a story or a hustle story for us. But I believe every first generation lawyer has to go for that. And you have to learn every time, you have to read every time, you need references every time, face rejections every time, because clients will always go for big names. This is a trend in this industry. Like, you want to go for a bypass surgery, you'll always ask who's the best doctor. No one asks who's a doctor who's free. Anyone can do. So the same thing applies in our profession also to some extent. That, if they want to go, they'll go for big lawyers. And then you have to find someone who can trust you. So we were able to find some clients who had trust on us. Some of the corporate officers who happened to had worked with me at that time and knew the way I used to perform. And somehow things worked.
So, sir, given this fact, you are holding currently a very esteemed office of being an additional advocate general for the state of Haryana at the Supreme Court of India, which in itself is one of the very prestigious things. We would request you to shed some light on this particular role and the insights related to the responsibilities and how do you face the challenges, what kind of things do you do over there, because that also will become an aspiration for learners as well.
For a litigation lawyer, it's a very important benchmark that he gets an opportunity at some time of his career to work for a public undertaking or government. Now, when we talk about a government panel or government cases, the documents, the orders, the law, the way of working, the protocol, the hierarchy, this you'll get to learn only when you start working for the government. So, like any other litigation lawyer, I was also looking at some opportunities. So, when this post was published, so I also applied for it. So, I was lucky enough, there were 9 additional AGs who were appointed. So, I was lucky enough, got appointed as additional AG for Haryana. So, the work involved for this role is taking care of their cases at Supreme Court. So, these cases, there is a well organized structure in government. The duties are well defined, the protocols are well defined. And in fact, it's a very, you can say, very well written bureaucratic structure. And so are the protocols, so are the documents, and so are their implementations. So it is a very good way for any litigation lawyer to learn by working for a panel. Challenges, every case has a challenge. Sometimes even students who are close to us or a junior who's close to us ask a very organic question, what is the main challenge? How much time will I take to become a good lawyer? How much time will I take to become an independent lawyer? So I remember my learning from one of the seniors from Delhi High Court. So when I used to sit in the canteen quite worried, he used to come to me. And once I remember discussing with him, he said, what happened? You're looking very sad. What exactly are you thinking? It was 5:30 p.m. at Delhi High Court. I said, I've been working so hard for 2 years and, though I'm earning, but not that which I hear it from the seniors that you get these many cases, you get this many fees, and you have a good office also. He told me, see, our legal profession is not like an aircraft. It is like a railway. Now, what happens in a train, the way trains operate is that you have to be on the track. There is no provision of overtaking. The moment you overtake, you will meet an accident. There is no provision of going faster than your schedule. Because the moment you go faster than schedule, there are chances you will meet an accident. There is no point slowing down on your schedule because if you slow down, someone will hit you from the back. All you can do is be on time and keep moving. But this is how a train would work. And this is how this profession is. All you need to do is every day, start your day the same time you do it, reach the courts on time, meet your clients properly, meet your deadlines, do your research timely. If there is a new law coming in, give your extra time, study it. You need to increase everything. Then if you follow that particular schedule, जिस तरह से एक रेलगाड़ी चलती है, बिल्कुल वैसे ये profession चलेगा. And believe me, he said, believe me, Khattar, every station will come. If you are on the track, you will reach every station. So this learning, I understood from him that perseverance is required in this profession. You need to be consistent. You need to be regular. You need to be sincere and disciplined. Whatever benchmarks are there written for any professional lawyer, you will reach all of them. My first mentor at Delhi, he was a special public prosecutor. And he used to talk to me in Punjabi and he said, Khattar, काम आना भी चाहिए और काम आना भी चाहिए. You should know how to work and then you should get work also. So these are the raw standard things we have learned from the seniors.
Absolutely beautiful standards and tried and tested tracks. The way they have taught you, काम आना भी चाहिए और काम आना भी चाहिए is absolute gem. Even running like a rail is also fascinating. But sir, you are ready to accept that as well. That also becomes very important. When someone is teaching or guiding you, you take it as a challenge to follow this. And I guess that probably has been the reason of your success. So, keeping all of this in the same platform and understanding, you specialize in constitutional law. What kind of thought process today is there in current generation? Because you encounter many individuals joining you as interns or juniors. And how do you guide them or train them or let them know in order to contribute meaningfully to the legal reforms and societal progress with the help of constitutional law matters?
See, though with time, automatically, because we were getting work more from the commercial and mercantile law, so our main time today is consumed in these contractual and commercial cases, as they say, for the bread and butter. But yes, constitutional law has been my favorite subject. And whenever there is a brief which involves a constitutional issue or a constitutional aspect, so I try keeping that brief on my table, not delegating it to anyone. So this is a very good question, and this is rather my favorite discussion with the new joinee in my firm. See, this also I learned from one of the great mentor I had. What he told me was, he quoted some lines from Bhagavad Gita. He said, you are part of a bigger system. The bigger system is that you are somewhere contributing to a system. Let's take it in a very raw way. A person whose rights have been infringed either by his family member or by a government agency or by a private company is not able to get his rightful share from some person or something that he deserves to get. Now, what he does is he goes to a lawyer. Now, what does a lawyer do is make sure that his case is rightly put up before the judge and that justice is given to him. And not only justice, a meaningful justice which is also executable. Not only words. As they say, justice should not be done, it should seem to be done. So justice should not only be on the paper. So this is what a lawyer would do for this person. If the society is suffering from injustice, you are the ones who are making sure, giving your professional advice to them, giving your professional service to them, that the justice is imparted. Once justice is imparted, it brings back the balance. A society only survives and sustains when the balance is there. When the balance is not there, the society will not survive for very long, and it will be more like a jungle Raj. So all the young lawyers have to understand, you are not entering this profession only for its glamour and money. You are not entering this profession only because you want to be a good orator or a debater. You also have to realize that you will be part of a big system, and you will be contributing towards maintaining a balance in the society. And the key to that for this country is our constitution. So you need to have trust in your constitution. You need to have trust in your country. Nothing will help you by cursing the constitution, by cursing the country. Only thing which helps the society will that you have trust in the constitution. Because the constitution, Indian constitution, the best thing that Indian constitution gives is balance to the society. The one who are weaker sections of the society, it strengthens them. One who wants to speak for himself, it empowers those people. One who intend to have a different opinion, it empowers those people. The state authorities, the state bodies who want to work, it gives duties to the citizens towards that authority also. So it is a balance that you get your rights also, you have duties also. So you trust the constitution, and if you are able to work and get some constitutional cases in the form of writs or public interest litigations, and you are able to make a difference out of the orders which you get writ petition, you will actually be performing your duties in a more meaningful way.
Beautifully put. That shows the passion that you have for constitutional law. I would like to just add a bit about my understanding related to Constitution of India. We feel so proud, at least what I have seen is we are duty centric rather than only right centric. We believe in fulfilling the duties and then talk about rights. Unlike many other constitutions who talk about rights only and there are no duty bound things. So I may be wrong, sir, but that's what my understanding about our constitution is. So the passion that you showed, it's overwhelming for me that you are talking about these things with youngsters, and they also have to relate with the societal process as well as you are giving to the society back. So how do you involve or engage the young lawyers, and how do you advise them to have a cross-border litigation or cross-border cases, because you are involved in many domestic and international cases? So I'm pretty sure there must be some learnings which will be a little different from how in India we work and how international entities work when it comes to legal field. So what are your learnings to be shared with the learners?
See, one thing which I always make clear to any person who's joining my firm is you have entered into a profession wherein, mark my word, hard work is extraordinary. When I say extraordinary, it is extraordinary. So if you want to run away now. Because you will never like yourself to be a kind of lawyer wherein you will be spoiling cases of your friends or him suffering losses because of your mistakes. You remember recently this NEET issue happened and there were memes across on doctor who passed in that particular year doing such mistakes. So you don't want yourself to become that kind of lawyer. So first thing I make them realize is today is your first day and this is your first fight. There is no point keeping him busy for another 1 year, just making him do research so that tomorrow when he is into actual action and he's already 28 and 29 years old, and he'll be thinking that I should pursue MBA or I should do a GMAT. No. The only practice that we do here differently from other firms, because I have been junior in many other firms also, is that we allocate cases on day one only. And if not cases, some part of the case for him, her to perform. Every day you will find all my associates attending court either by a virtual mode or physical mode. They'll carry the file. We are pure litigation firms. Another thing that, I always missed having in my firm, we did not have interactive sessions in the firm. Now, they all expect me as their mentor should tell them how exactly a case has to be done. I cannot do that every time. But what I make sure is after 7 days or 10 days or 2 weeks, I take up one case or any one particular issue. And all of them will sit across in the conference room. And then I'll tell them what exactly is this case, how you are doing, and how it should be done, along with some standard rules of drafting, pleading, and convincing, that how actually these cases are to be done. And sometimes I do it from individual basis also. This type of one-to-one teaching and interactive sessions, these were missing when I did my juniorship in the firm. So I wanted that if I'm working with such a successful lawyer, so I should get all the benefits rather than just getting impressed from his performance, etc. So that's what we are doing. And the one thing which we all litigation firms are getting nowadays, new kind of assignments is, and now the corporates have started thinking that since these are the lawyers who are taking care of our cases before the courts, where our agreements, contracts, and other documents are being interpreted by the honorable courts. These only firms should start drafting our agreements. So I believe around 6 years back, we got this assignment from one of our leading passenger car manufacturers. So we had this 2 days workshop, started doing that. So that is now additional thing which, these associates of mine who are actually of their genre of litigation are now learning drafting of these contracts, etc. And believe me, with these two, the drafting and the litigation coming under one banner, something which will come out of it will be less litigations in future. If you have a perfect agreement, there will be less litigations in future, and that will directly affect in a positive way, affirmative way, in a healthy business of the country, and will also reduce the burden on the courts. So we, as a small organization, as our first generation law firm, we are running on this particular idea. I believe there is none. I don't recollect any of my associate who does not have a separate client allocated to him. So at least one client per associate independently handling, or in a team, 2 to 3 persons in a team, they are handling it.
Wow, sir, you are such an amazing law firm, and the strategy is so good. Actually, the thing which you were talking about is absolutely innovative, and it will rise to a standard where there will be less litigations related to it.
Yes.
So you being so busy with all of these commitments, professional, and obviously your office commitment, then being an AG as well is a bigger commitment. How do you recharge yourself or unwind yourself from this kind of commitment-centric approach? And are there any hobbies or activities which you keep on doing with your law office as well? Because obviously everyone is going through some or the other stress for sure. So how do you unwind yourself? What kind of activities do you follow?
The way our schedule is, ma'am, this is the wrong question you asked a lawyer. Most of us will tell you that we play golf. We don't have time for that also. But just tell you one incident I learned from one of my principal associates. Her name is Vandana, and someone was accompanying me that day, and I had a sudden change of time of meeting. So I was back from court. I was supposed to meet someone at 12:30 p.m. The meeting shifted to 2 p.m. And this was one associate of mine. She was with me. So when she came back, she asked her, सर का 1 घंटा पोस्टपोन हो जाता है मीटिंग, तो सर क्या करते हैं? तो बोला वही कनॉट प्लेस जाते हैं, एक पूरा राउंड मारते हैं पैदल और कुछ बुक्स खरीदते हैं. क्या हुआ? बोली मेरे को साथ घुमाया पूरा राउंड. तो दिस इज ऑल आई डू. बीच में टाइम लगेगा तो विल गो टू सीपी, एक full round उधर लिया, and I have some bookshops where I'll go. So it is also a learning for all the young lawyers. Read as much as possible, as much as possible. You never know when one topic will come to you, and then you will be ready with the response. And the more confidently and with more content you respond, this adds to your personality as a lawyer. So as many books as you read, that much you will be able to evolve yourself in the career. So in my pastime, I'll read books. I still prefer old authors. I'm yet to get impressed by a new author, and I hardly get any time. Though I have plans in future, but I'm not sure those are going to happen. So best thing to cool your mind and relax is meet some of your friends at High Court lobby, and talk about here and there. And I think after some time we'll talk about our children. They are growing up. Rest we'll only talk about watches and pens. That's it.
Absolutely amazing and honest answer from your side. Yes, reading is the favorite pastime. It should be for everyone. It's a very new thing that everyone talks about everything around books. But if all of us will start sharing those wisdoms as well, it will help the people who work with us. Although we talk about it, but somehow the books are not there in hands. And I feel like that is something which I see only in high courts and supreme courts, that all our learned friends, they definitely carry books now. Earlier also it was the reality, and now also. So giving this particular inclination towards books, and you always interested in reading and finding new books, many a times juniors or the new entrants, they have this particular point that we do not have this much to invest in this. How should we go ahead and do it? So I would request you to answer this factor, because we all have gone through this particular phase where we do not have enough to immediately buy so many books. So how can we garner that particular reading habit? Probably you'll be able to guide us through that as well.
See, when I started reading, I was in school, so there was a library. And later on, I realized I can also tell the librarian that there is a book I've read. At that time, there was no Google. So all the new books, information used to get published in Hindustan Times. It was the second or third page it used to be. So I used to tell my librarian that this is the book. How should I say? You write an application, give it to the principal that this is the book required. Then when I went to the university, there was a very big library. Then I started reading about international law. There was not enough material in that library. Though it's a big library, central library. So I started coming to Delhi. I used to take a bus from Rohtak to Delhi, or a train which will drop me to Tilak Bridge. From there, we used to walk to this ISIL, Indian Society of International Law. That's the ultimate library for international law. Then I had some friends who would help me get into the ILI library. And then sometimes at Delhi University is a very good library. So I think libraries are something wherein you can look at. And books, no doubt, are quite expensive. If you start buying 10 books, for example, I can read around 10 books in a month or a 3 months period. So that can cost you around 3,500, 4,000, which is not possible for a young lawyer. Like we have WhatsApp groups. Why don't we have sharing? My daughter does it. I've seen, she won't share all these things with me. She is a growing teen, but I've seen that she shares books with her friends also. Though there is a very old saying, my father used to say this in Punjabi. It means one who lends the book is a fool. The one who returns that book is a bigger fool. So if you actually want books to be your friend, you have to follow one rule. I forgot the name of the author who said, he said, before buying a new coat, buy a new book. So I think youngsters would understand it's all diversion of funds. If you understand the importance, it will add to your career. Especially those Gen Z slangs which are getting into. I don't know where would these slangs work. God bless all of them. But books are something which will help you understand the art of storytelling, the art of contentment, then how to balance a particular para, a particular line, and how to learn from an experience which happened thousands of kilometers away from where you are living, and to feel that experience because the author whom you have chosen has that particular skill of storytelling. And then you can realize that this is much, much better than the small 10 seconds or 20-second reels or shorts that we see, which are made perfect after 20 or 30 reshots, right? And the beauty of learning of language can bring in. You've learned the language, you bought all the beads and threads from the market, and you made a necklace out of it. So this is how a book is written. The author or the writer will learn the language, he'll learn the experience, he'll talk to people. Writers are a different kind of a species. So they do wonderful things, they do beautiful things. So if you get to see that beauty in that book, then also have that imbibed inside you. And then tomorrow you will also start performing more effectively because of those books. So the saying gets proved that before buying a new coat, buy a new book.
Wow. Sir, this brings me to ask you about your views related to technology. How is it helping us or helping our future grow in terms of legal practice? Because everyone is skeptical about the disruption that technology has brought in. It has lessened our reading time. Everything is questioned about technology, that it is affecting us. How do you see it is affecting legal practice as well? And what kind of future do you foresee that may help us grow? How do you get acquainted with technology better?
So far as litigation and other allied services in legal industry are concerned, we have tried most of the technologies, including chat GPT and research and these references given by some of the company. But I'm yet to find all of us. I share my opinion with many of my friends and colleagues also. We are yet to find an exact helpful technology which would actually bring or disrupt this industry. The reason I believe is as a more humanly touch is required in handling matters, in doing the briefs. So initially when we started using ChatGPT, what we came to understand was the quantum and number of contracts which will be processed even in a particular region is that much that even an AI would fail. The only reason is that if you are not able to customize a particular contract for a client properly, it is of no use. Even one small mistake makes the entire agreement a disaster. Same goes for the drafting of your cases also. So I believe when you said technology, because this is the technology that they talk a lot. So I talk to many of AI lawyers also, right, and some AI people also. I think the actual game changer is yet to come, if it is coming in the future. Good thing is we started using this Manupatra and SCC from college only. So this paperless thing which has come in, this has quite reduced the burden in maintaining a law office. My office is almost paperless so far as the reporters are concerned, because new generation lawyers, we never got those reporters, booked. So our father, they are not lawyers, so we never inherited from them. So only difference that I now think is, when we used to do research from books, so we used to read something extra also. But then again, if a new associate or a new lawyer get himself adapted to this particular research also and does extra research in his free time also, these tools like Manupatra, SCC and other websites also, they are very nice, very well organized. The search tools are very good and much acceptable in the courts also. So technology helps everyone. It helps you also. It helps me also. We have seen during the Corona days how technology is working, getting the courts worked also. So now we take all our briefs in our iPads. We have many softwares who help us getting the notes done. So as a practice, we also hold this pencil now rather than another pen. But one thing, I don't know why, sometimes I think after another 4 or 5 years, the next junior associates will come to us, might call me old school. But somehow I believe we should not leave the habit to write, read, and read randomly also. Anything. Somehow I have this belief in my mind that if you are using technology, do not leave the habit to write also. Whenever a client comes, we take notes. So we have journals. So that journal, even today, I make it from my own handwriting. So new lawyers who are joining this profession or very much new to this profession should know, do not lose the habit of writing. Do not lose the habit of reading. And do not lose the habit of maintaining a file also if it is required. Let technology grow. I think tomorrow it can help us, because today it's partly helping us.
Thank you, sir, for taking us back to that era of reading, writing, and taking journals. Sir, we are already towards almost the end of the interview. We would request you, sir, to share some of your insights that you believe are essential for the new entrants or the interns who are seeking opportunities at Patine law offices as well as others. And if you could share some insights as well about characteristics or attributes that you prioritize while selecting or checking the candidates to join your team.
One thing I always tell them is, lately even you have also seen a lot of law colleges have come. I don't know whether I should say this or not, but if you see the quality of teaching, that has got depleted in these law colleges. You need to tell a law student what the profession will look like so that he starts preparing for himself. Students will come to us doing 12 internships. Then I would ask 10 questions from them. They cannot answer 11 out of them. Reason being, the idea which is being circulated to these students is that you need to do an internship from a good place, but they are not asked what you have learned. Whenever I'll ask you, written, I've done internship with this judge. So what did you learn? And they never used to tell us anything. Then do not write it in your resume. So the first question that I'll ask him, whoever applies to my firm, is, how much did you score in your matriculation? Now people will tell me, even my daughter, why marks are important. They are important. Not that the subjects of the matriculation and 12th class are important. Important is whether you were able to work hard and perform. The academics that you will be showing us will help us understand that if given an assignment or a task, whether you were able to perform or not. Student who scored 65% in 10th class but got 75% in 12th class, I will consider him much beyond a student who has scored 90% both the times. Because what he was able to do was, he was able to turn around his life. This is what he'll be doing in this profession also. Interacting with police officers, interacting with district level judges, then high court judges, then bureaucrats, public prosecutors. So he should not tomorrow say that I can talk to this particular kind of people and not this particular kind of people. So all the students should understand academics is very important. Second thing is you need to work upon your language, written and spoken both. This is a profession where you cannot compromise here at all. And when I say language, Hindi and English both. When you are talking about working in North India, you cannot compromise कि जी मेरे को हिंदी पढ़नी नहीं आती. मैं जी I learned it from a convent. We have been taught by ex-army and navy officers. But one thing we knew that हर भाषा की अपनी महिमा होती है और आपको सीखनी है. Because even today there will be many drafts which you will be coming across which will be in Hindi. So you cannot tomorrow come and say कि sir I want a English version of it. So this is how I make the assessment for any of an associate or a young student who is applying for an internship or a job with our firm. I want this message to go to all young students. Stop saying academics do not matter. No. The people who are motivating you over Instagrams or people who have been sitting in Shark Tanks also, they are IIT and IIMs. You are law students, IIT, IIMs are the first choices. So if you are starting this profession, remember, it's an extraordinary hard work. You have to read a lot, you have to work a lot, you have to be consistent, you have to take care of your mental and physical health both. If you are able to do that, you are entering the world's most wonderful profession. From any point of view, from learning point of view, from confidence of living, from earning, name it, and this is the best profession you are entering. Only condition is the hard work that it will require will be extraordinary. There is no compromise. It's a rail gadi. You cannot overtake, you cannot jump.
Thank you for such an honest opinion and a beautiful, enriching experience. We have had so much learning today. Thank you, sir, once again for being here and accepting our invitation at Superlawyer. I hope our learners will understand the critical importance of you saying all these things, that you cannot only depend on online learning. You have to get into the field and you have to be like railways where you cannot jump and race. You just have to be on time and keep on moving. That's the best possible advice you can get. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you once again.
Thank you.